Monjikira 3 days. Tunaboba over I was made to win anything. I've never won anything for free. I've always had to work for stuff. So collecting these scratch cards from Shell is me trying to figure out if I could win anything ever. In Iwafe, it's threatening to rain. So it means that hi Tazan. It means that yes, if it doesn't rain now, it's going to rain through the night. Tomorrow we will not be having a broadcast in the morning because I'm going to be doing field work. Bonsoir. When I do field work, I start very early in the morning, and when I start very early in the morning, it's impossible for me to do the broadcast. I start work at like 4 a.m. and because I start work at 4 a.m. it's very hard for you to do the broadcast when you've already started your trip. So I'll be doing the broadcast on Tuesday, not tomorrow. Yeah. So Encha Bambi Monsonywe will not be able. Now the broadcast I had scheduled for yesterday, in that broadcast we'll be talking about what makes your car a sports car. Hi Samuel Chechingomesa, Kavuma Farouk, hi Musema Saddam, hi. So Wednesday in the morning on the broadcast we'll be talking about what makes your car a sports car. Tuesday is Market Tuesday. I have an inspection scheduled for Tuesday. We might be buying a Mark II Grand. Yeah. Hi Charles. Samuel, inja field work agenda kontwala. I don't want to say that. Hi Jojo, how are you? So yesterday we bought a Vitz. That's a 2008 Vitz. That's a model that is the trim. There's something about that Vitz that we bought that probably changes a little bit with the other Vitz that I've seen. When you look at that Vitz in the pictures that I said, the interior is literally the same, but on the exterior, what we morokezo zibakola ngabazikoze ne baziteekako extras ebweru. Those extras, if you were to buy them, it would cost you about 1 million. Ebibaraza ebyawano mabbali, the lip and the real bumper lip, it would cost you about between 800 to 1 million. And normally when a car comes with those extras, they were trying to make it look nice. Maybe they made like a couple of those. That's why when you see cars that look like that, they're not everywhere. So now this is one of those cars that was rare, that was there in Uganda yeah. So how did we get to buy that Vitz? I got a call. Remember, there is a Saturday I told you I was going to do an inspection. I think it was last Saturday. The other Saturday, and the gentleman did not turn up. And I think that time that gentleman wanted to buy, I think, a RAV4. And by the time we were done yesterday, he had changed his mind. He didn't want the RAV4 again anymore. So this gentleman didn't turn up that Saturday, so I forgot about him. And then after, it's now like more than 24 hours without getting any notifications from you. I was wondering why. Aisha. Yesterday I did not do a broadcast. Yeah, I was busy trying to do inspection, so I couldn't. Hi Roderick. So the gentleman calls me on I think Thursday. He texted me and then we chatted, and then he said, you know what, I think this Saturday I'm going to come and I'm going to buy a car. And he wanted to buy a Toyota Ractis. He had 14 million shillings in budget, and he was ready to get, according to, this is the conversation I'm having with this gentleman on Thursday, and according to him, he was ready to even, let me just do this first. Let me just do that. I want to get us some more light here, and then I can keep doing that and doing that so that we have good light in here. So Yeah, our battery is fine. We had a chat, and I say, well, very well. Now he told me that he's buying this car for the transportation business. Now transportation business, this Uber, if someone wants to take them to the airport, you can do that. Someone wants to take the Queen Elizabeth National Park, you can do that, and all that. And initially, this person wanted to buy a Ractis with a budget of 14. Now, a budget of 14, a Ractis is possible, might be possible, but it will be in bad condition. That's a fact. And so when we met, then I learned that he wasn't actually the one buying. So he had a brother of his that was buying the car. Hi, Julius. Martha Academy na Mamo Kono. Hi. So when we meet, I realize that his brother is the one that buying the car. So that's when he tells me, you know what, Arthur, it's not me buying this car, actually. It's my brother here. And you know the car he wants. And then the brother talks and he says, you know what, Arthur, I want to buy the Ractis, but you can also advise. And then I ask, what are you going to use the car for mostly? And he says, driving myself, but also I'm going to use it for the transport business. And then transport business, normally when someone tells me transport business, the next question is, what kind of transport business? And normally it's also Uber. And then I tell him, you know what, Uber is not as profitable. I know that. It wouldn't be a very good thing for you to buy a car betting on it. And Amina Francis, the Vitz lover, I'm here. Let me first like Amina George. So we were not going to buy a Vitz. That wasn't even in our plan. But then I tell him, if you're going to buy a car for transport business, and if you want a car that will actually make good money in case you decide to do transport business seriously, then I would suggest you get a bigger car. At that time, the bigger car that could even fit in it is a little bit higher, but it could be a Wish. It could be a Toyota Wish. The Toyota Wish is VVTi. It doesn't give you very good mileage, but if you, and this is for anyone that wants to do business with cars. You want to probably do Uber, a safe car, Faraz. There are so many apps out there. The bigger the car, the better for you. So it means that if you buy a big car that gives you good consumption, that's good for you. If you buy a small car because of consumption, there are deals that you may not be able to get. So we did talk, and in the end we agreed to just go and look at the Ractises in the market. So we drove and we went to Nakawa. So we first went to a big place there where there's so many cars there. And we looked at all the cars that were available. The first thing we asked the gentleman there, show us the Ractises. He showed us a Ractis, which was a Ubichu, and my God, people can drive badly. So I did not look at the number plate before. So when we went to see the Ractis, we just went straight. They opened it for us. I saw the car. It didn't look bad for a UBA or UBB. You get like a UBD. It didn't really look bad inside. But when I looked at the body, it was white. When I looked at the body, that didn't look really good. I thought to myself, for a UBB, someone has really kept it. Until this gentleman actually tells us, hey, you beat you. God, people, there are cars that are UBchu, Nayenga, the car actually looks like a UBA. So I kept asking this guy, are you sure it's a UBchu before I actually looked? Then I went closer and I saw it was a UBchu. And they were selling it 25. And I think I knew why they were selling it at 25. It wasn't good. And the engine was actually okay. But it even had paddle shifters, something that mine doesn't have. And I don't think I really wish for paddle shifters, because the paddle shifters don't even give you any power. Like, still the car decides when you can change. You get, like when you're driving in a motor auto manual, you don't decide when you put number 2 or number 3 or number 4. The car has to decide for you which gear when you can change gears. You get, so we looked at one, then we looked at another one, which was UBH. It was black, but this gentleman did not like black. And then there's a UBG we looked at. We had the, guys, I tell you, don't buy 1.3 liter Ractis. So we saw a 1.3 liter Ractis. It wasn't good. If it had been like a 1.5 liter, we would buy it actually. But there's the only 1.3 guys, 1.3 engine in Toyota cars that I've told you to buy is the 2NZ. Okay, if you're going to buy any 1.3 liter car, in Toyota, let it be 2NZ. If it's not a 2NZ, jireke. Now, I've actually realized that when I say things like this, people think I'm fighting them. Like when I talk about like an item, like I say they buy a 2NZ engine, and then someone has a car that doesn't have a 2NZ engine, he thinks that I'm trying to pull him down. Which take it, I've realized that I think this is something in Africa. Tukuzibwa omuntu ayogera ekintu ekitatukolera tulowooza atuwala. It takes a lot of time for you to actually understand that, you know what, you don't really matter. Someone would have said it even if it were you, if it weren't you that were doing what you're doing. It takes time for you to understand it. And I think it takes being aware of your surroundings to know how insignificant you are. And then probably on Tuesday, we'll talk about why people hire drivers. I had an experience that I will not be able to share right now, but I'll share a couple of months later. Maybe you'll ask me. But I'll tell you that I know now why people hire drivers. Like someone makes like a 300 million and they have a 300 million, 200 million on the account. They have their finances sorted. You know how you can get there with a million so bibidi kwa account. Ngatene business zichaleeta, you have a home that is sorted, or in a business ezenjawulo. I think now I understand why you would want to hire a driver around. So, but I'll share that on Tuesday or Thursday. Because Tuesday is Market Tuesday. It's important that we stick to marketing. But maybe Thursday, we will talk about why people hire drivers, why people have more than one car. Some homes, people have more than 3 cars. I think I understand why. When you go to countries like Europe, you'll find that people drive themselves. VIPs, but you'll find that most people actually drive themselves. But I think I know why people hire drivers. And then I also know why people don't hire drivers. Like, if you've looked at Honorable Uganda, he has no driver. Yevuga. I phoned him like 3 times. I've got Land Cruiser. Jibaita Ronaldo, eh? Yeah, I've met him. I've never talked to him though, but I think I really like the kind of person he is. So, anyway, we moved, then we went ahead and even saw Spacio new models. Spacio new models is overpriced. Someone was selling a Spacio new model UBD nga sina nungi mbwajituna milioni 2 and I was, how do you buy this thing? And then there was a Sienta UBJ ngabajagala milioni 19. The Sienta was okay, but you know when we are buying cars twina we tutukane ngamba nedda. Why don't we consider this? So we had 14 million cash. And this is when I started calling the guys. Because when these guys told me they wanted to buy Ractis, I thought, like, you know how someone has a dream car and they want to buy it. So I thought Ractis was a dream car. So I started calling the bond guys that I know, asking them, okay, can you give us a Ractis on credit if we give you 14 million? But none of the bonds wanted to give us a Ractis with 14 million down payment. So all of them wanted 18 million down payment. And then they'll give us a Ractis at 27 million. And after I figured all that, then I came back to the person that was buying and I asked them, is this your dream car? And they said, no, it's not the dream car. The dream car is the Fielder. But you know, because we can't get the money to buy a Fielder, so we thought, okay, let me buy a Ractis and all that. And then I was telling these guys, if this is not your dream car, let's tone it down a little bit. Let's forget about the Ractis. Let's look at what we can get with 14 million. Then use the next couple of months to to accumulate money, which we will top up and then buy the Fielder that we want. You get it? I found that at that moment, that was the most sane thing to do. Don't be too rigid. It's raining. It's starting to rain. Don't be too rigid. Don't be too rigid. I have to close. Don't be too rigid with don't be too rigid with what car you want to buy, yet it's not even your dream car. Kati okulemera ku Ractis ngate Ractis si dream car yo even it's not the best thing for you to do. So I told him, you know what, why don't we look for a Vitz? Because I know a Vitz we can get in within our budget. Netujifuna no jivuga for some months, and when you're tired of the Vitz, ate Vitz tesala sente. Vitz webe kusazenye kusale million bidding kusazenyo okitegeera. So why don't you buy that one and drive it for like a year, collect money, then buy the Fielder that you dream of buying. and they sort of bought it, so we went back to the place. Kati wenjogera ono tulimu tulabye Spasio, tulabye Sienta, and then we went back to the place that we saw the Raktis. Ne batulaga bu Vitz bubiri. Akamu kabadde kalinga ka RS, and this is where people need to be very careful. I've realized that brokers don't really care about you. So someone texted me today on TikTok and he said, you know what, you know, I normally tell people I charge 450,000 for pre-purchase inspection, and when I tell them that, they say, Arthur, that's a lot of money. And when you tell me that's a lot of money, I say, you know what, go watch my videos, you'll have enough information that you need. So someone texts me on TikTok today and tells me, you know what, you know what, Arthur, someone, I wanted to buy a car. He texted me some time ago and we did not really connect. So he went ahead and went to buy a car on his own. And I think brokers advised him to buy a Mazda Demio. You know, the Mazda Demios look good. Eh? Inside they look good. Outside it's very compact. Now for a young person that is looking for a car. Sorry guys, network took me off. So the Mazda Demio we are talking about is not even 5 months. And he was telling me brokers convinced him to buy a Mazda Demio, and that now it has become a problem in his compound. Now these are the things I normally tell people. Okay guys, ani gwemba de sinabuuza ko Lubega Francis. Oh sorry guys, you came back. Network ebadde tujjeko. When it starts raining, it network acts up like that. Eh? So we went back in the travel Vitz bubiri. You guys need to be very careful. But then banyemiza Demio tunaweza ya miezi 5 uli ya mutama ibera mu rujje ifafa. Ate being in Moroto ne bali badde bamakanika basobola gikola bakanika basobola Mazdas bali Kampala. So I shared that on TikTok definitely. And then I got thinking that sometimes osobola kwagala okusaving age emitwala 45, and then you end up working with people that really don't give a damn. And then there is someone also that told me he bought a car, he went back, the guys were undervaluing it. Those are common, depends where you buy the car. And then you should never buy a car thinking, oh, I can take it back. Buy a car that you are willing to stick with. Hi Johnson Lubinga. Amina Habat, how are you? Chris Fitness Lubulwa, how are you? Aloyo Joanaga, true, someone who drives himself, is our neighbor here in Bokassa. Oh, Dogmeister, hi. Ntongo Helen, hi. Besigensi, Kenneth, hi. Ben Kako, hi. So, Vitz, the Twalabia, Wabadeo, Emi Abade, I think UBM, they wanted 20 million cash. Yet I said 22. And then we stopped at 20, and then he said, "Biga nyao, Ted is a moro katizina tuka iyo wansi, you get." And then there was a UBG. No. I think it was a UBK. I think it was UBK inabi bump ya RS, Vitz RS for the guys that know, but it wasn't really an RS. Now, let me try to make this point. Guys, you need to be very careful when buying a Toyota Vitz now, the new 2008 and above models. If you're buying a Toyota Vitz and it has a 1.3 liter engine, let it be the 2NZ engine. If it's not a 2NZ engine, it is safe. The problem with buying a 1.3 liter engine that is not reliable is that you will think that you have a 1.3 liter engine, then you'll use it like you should be using a 1.3 liter engine. Kumbo inaka engine yakabiaka singane 1.1 liter. People have been driven 1 liter engines for years and years. People that drive 1.3 liter engines struggle and suffer. Hi Emmanuel Sebunya, how are you? JFK at high, like a Brent high. But somehow you guys sometimes change my clip up. Sometimes you guys take this for granted. You should never take it for granted. Gula Vitz ina engine gye bayita 2NZ efaanana 1NZ bw'okalaba bw'oti bw'oba teweegendereza oyinza obutabwawula 2NZ ne 1NZ. Now 2NZ is a little smaller because it's 1.3. The 1NZ yene ebeera mu Sienta, ebeera mu Fielder, ebeera mu Alex, ebeera mu Auris, ebeera mu mu Corolla ebeera mu Ractis okitegeera the one NZ engine is in ebeera mu Corolla leze nene era ye bayita one NZFX I think someone told me one NZFX yebeera ne mu hybrid ziri okitegeera so after seeing that the prices, then we went and saw a Vitz somewhere that has that UBJ that we bought, and the person wanted 16 million. And I initially had suggested that he sells it to us at 12 million. Ngaseka busasi yabadde tayagala natuguza nga yeewamba akola biki, and then finally I think I stopped at 14 million. The name Bivako Kuba, I knew we had 14 million, and of course normally I tell you guys where guys yaka center, so the person who was buying had an extra 1 million. Na iya badisha yagala kwema lako sente, you get it? So they ended, this guy said 15.5 emoroka yabademu woofer and accessories ngabo manyo muntu akole ebintu moroka ye ebintu, and he said you give me 15.5. Then then I told my person, you know what, you're buying a car, and then the person actually wanted to give this person 14 million bambanje million, and then the other person yadaga kankubanje katemu kitundu bwimba nkubanje kitundu, and then I was telling this person, you're buying a car that is yours, lwachi weyingiza mu banje lya mitwala 5. You have your friends here, you had 2 friends with him, I told him you have your friends here. Bwoba yagala sigaza million mu jota ina nyo kyogenda gikozesa gamba bana bakwano bakuwe mitwala 5 gikubeeremu ono musajja omwe muroko sente omuroko ogimali yebere yo benga takubanje olime kweteka ku pressure, you get it? And that's how we ended up buying that Vitz at 15 million shillings. Yeah, so netujigula, we drove that Vitz netugenda ewuwe sente zabadde waka netusayiningira endagaano yaffe netuvayo ngeyabadde atunda emmotoka talina mmotoka nga bamutwalako butwazi ne batutwalako phone my car ne batugulira n'empuuta awo mu empuuta ewooma, you guys, empuuta ewooma. I ate like one piece kubanga obudde bwabadde bunkuta. I had a rehearsal at office, so but empuuta ewooma, I will eat empuuta again. Empuuta ewooma, mwe bagayi wosanga omuntu amanyi okufumba empuuta ewooma. So anyway, that's how we ended up buying that Vitz at 15 million. I find that it was a good buy. You see, I could have gotten something better, and all that. But 15 million shillings is good money. But getting a car that is where literally everything works. And the problem that I've seen that people have with buying 1 liter vehicles is they want to get a performance of the Subaru. I feel like there's something lacking in terms of power. But what that car lacks in power, it compensates in fuel efficiency. As a matter of fact, njagala kudda evuga ka Vitz ako ka 10 nze nga Arthur, njagala kudda mu kavuga, njagala kudda muzeke, njagala by the way ne 13 njagala, but 13 terabika. That I will tell you. Osobola otambula mu bondi z'ennaka waawo nga temuli 13 neja. Sigamba 13. I'm talking about the 13 that I recommend you buy. Ya 2NZ. The day we bought this car, twanonya 13 yabula. That's how I ended up by driving this thing. Me, I want the Vitz. Make it one thing I've realized, I'm okay with the 1 liter Vitz. Mama Aban is okay with the one. We have driven this car, we love it and all that, but I think we'd also be happy with the Vitz. Watch together. Nyono gwe bakwatidde message ye. Abadde agamba empuuta ewooma. Sebonya YouTube ekigambo empuuta ebadde tekitegedde. Mwe bagayi nalidde ekifi ky'empuuta kimu ne nvaawo nga mpapa. Naye natuuse ne ngamba wasinga nsigadde ne ndi empuuta ne mpoomerwa. Naye nja gigula the next time. I think ku Tuesday ngula empuuta eyo. Ku Tuesday nja kulya empuuta. So anyway, 1000cc is the best wabula. Yeah, Dixon, simanya gyovuga. You guys, one thing I've realized in Uganda, actually we were like, one of the friends actually left afterwards. They stayed too. One of those guys is looking to buy a fielder. So I told him, I asked him and then I was asking him, okay, tuli muvuga Vitz sisi 10. But what does this Vitz miss doing that a fielder or a RAV4 can do? You can get to where you want to go, and normally that's the problem. That's the when we buy cars, we are looking to solve a mobility problem. I want to move from Kampala to Masaka. The Vitz 1 liter, even a person can do. A person, I think Fahad agamba Arthur oli mubi wagamba tosobola kugula Vitz. Nenga nakoma dde okubyogera ebyo. Omanyi Vitz ze nakagula Fahad. I've driven nasooka nengula Vitz yasooka nengula ey'okubiri nengula ey'okusatu. Owulira nakavuga Vitz 3 njagala vuga yakuna. Njagala gula Vitz yakuna. Sente ze bagenda okuguzaamu Vitz Pasio enkadde. Endio ennungi zigula Vitz empya mu bondi. Kati mbagambye okitegeera baba kuguza Vitz katugambe ani bali oliga yagula Vitz ngeri ku UBG yagula milioni 25 izo milioni 25 osobola okugula Vitz mu bondi. Okitegeera kati me why would I buy a car that is old when I can get a car that nenjetandikira from the bond? Okitegeera so Fahad nakoma dde okubyogereza navuga mu ka Vitz kali ka 10. Then I realized that it's actually a real car. Nga kadduka nabeera nga ku live broadcast wano nga mwe mungamba Arthur ngodduka nnyo mujjukira nenga ka 10 nga ate abantu bange bonna mbatisseemu. The only challenge with the Vitz is that it doesn't have a boot, but other than that, if you're not the kind of person ayagala okulinnya ennyo omuliro, Vitz ya sisi 10 ogiwangaasa. What's the process of clearing and forwarding an imported car? I think I'm not very sure because I've not imported the car, but the best thing for you to do is to deal with an unauthorized clearing agent. So if you want to bring a car, find someone who has done that before and then let them advise you. Oba basasule boba bikolereko. Of course, now the taxes that you have to pay are clear. Ina jana kugamba twala zino ziteke mu banka nze mpago eziti. One thing that the one thing that I do is I want to work with someone that gives me control over my money. Like when I was connecting power here on Ewange, nali netaga polem. But the initial person I got that wanted to connect for me power told me I needed 2 poles, and then he asked me for 5.5. I was willing to give him that money, but he was in Umeme like a manager there, and he also had a contracting company like all people do. So I asked him, okay, now if I give you, because 5.5 is a lot of money, so I asked him, if I give you 5.5, when do I get power? Because he was influential, and he said, atekati waya zabuze, atekati it will take me like 3 months. And then I was thinking, okay, I spend 5 million and then I wait 3 months. 5 million and then I wait 3 months. If I give you 5 million, you should give me power in. And then he wanted me to give him the money so that he uses the money, pays for me everything. And I did not really like it. And then he said, inakumpa 80% of the money, then olinde mieze satu bofuna masanyalazo mmalimu. I don't let people control my money for me. I even tell people when we're going to buy cars, sente zo zileke mu bank. When you like the car and we decide we're going to pay that for that car, but what so tuvuga novugo genda mu bank okujayo sente osasula ono. Okitegeera. So then that guy was 5.5. Then I got someone else who came and looked at the side. But you don't really need 2 poles. You need only 1 pole. And then, so what happened then is that person namba leader zino jazitwala mu banka for ku banka account ya umeme zino koleboti zilioko, and then for him he charged me 500k. I find that person is better. Akugamba nze mpe mitwala 5 nojja kuleta ni ndayisambuze empapula gwe kuli kino on pay receipt. And that's what I did. So what I did is I went to the bank and paid umeme money zali over 2 point what, and then I sent him a screenshot of the receipt. Yina agenda natambuze empapula mba ndi awulumunga aba umeme bankubira nga baze n'ogumotoka nabo ne bankolako emikono nabo ne mbawo emitwala asini mukama katonda nene bampa amasanyalaze kulu bagenda njaka okitegeera. And it was as simple as that, you get. But try as much as possible to work with people that give you the power to handle your money yourself. I find that chija kwa avoiding, like the gentleman yaguze motoka yesterday, he told me a story. He has a relative of his, like alimu motoka, he deals with cars. Kat his relative yamugamba mpaye million 10 nze nkweno primo the 2008 primo njagiguza 20 million naye gwogira ompa million 10 ompemu weeks 2 nyina bye njagala okukiyalinga ku URA then I'll give you this car weeks 2 neziyitawo guy n'agenda okusaba sente ze nga guy sente tazirina natandika okumuwa threats give me my money eventually guy n'amuwako million 8 n'amaana amwongera 7 osega tabanja akakadde kamu naye ze namugamba if his relative even pays yakusasula ko 8 kati akumaze ko ye anti athago manyi kati nebira interest free loan sente zanga azimpenga zawo namugamba you're lucky this person even paid mulala yalidde ndye you get so but anybody that doesn't give you control over your money, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Oli omuntu wabagenda kuyamba let their fee be clear and let their be fees gwezo zakugamba zisasule wano. Me I deal with people that like that. Hi Derek Lule, how are you? I've been following you for some time. Njagala kunoonya sente ngule Isuzu elf tipper oba Kanta tipper. Which one would you recommend? Elf, the Kanta is Mitsubishi. Kanta Mitsubishi has a lot of power. So if you have big loads, that works. But Elf outlives the Kanta. I tell most of the guys that drive those lorries will tell you that Mitsubishi Kanta, the spare is available, it's cheap. But then a far. I think that's even why the spare is there and cheap, because Bamutunda, it moves. Then spare wa Elf wa bei. But I think it's because Erefu temalaga fa. So now what happens if you're buying a used one? If you're buying a used Elf, you need to be careful because Elf spare wa bei abantu bangi bazivuga nezifa ngate bazikanise ziremo charging battery yange. You get what I'm saying? I got to gula Erefu ba Kanta. So it depends on what you want to use the car for. Personally, I would buy an Elf, the Elf, because nebo iteno mbiale wafeje tumira Elf nyingi ate zonna zitambula. Naye bwogenda mu nzija z'abantu you find that Kanta zitudde okitegeere so how much can I get a second hand parcel set? I think you should have about 22 million, and I'm saying this I don't even know where we will get it if we look for it, but I'm thinking because parcel setters came in new number plates enungi erija kuba mpya because the parcel setter has a Daihatsu engine which they are only recently have they become reliable. So if you're going to buy a parcel setter, just know it's a Daihatsu engine, and so every good parcel setter is going to be old. It's going to be new, and new cars. But if you're buying a used parcel setter at 22, why can't you raise the extra 5 no gule mpye yo muboni? Okitegera Nestor ye empute oma. Emputa ye woma empute oma. Nali daga chifichimu. Atoli omwana alaika muchi Mufumbi wampu takafulu Ninsima brick. How are you? Kavma Farouk. Electric and fuel mumanyi emotoka ezo kasitabakola you just have to compare horsepower and torque if an electric car and a petrol car have the same torque and horsepower, they have this they give you the same performance. If an electric car has more torque and horsepower than a petrol car, then definitely that the electric car is going to be more powerful. So if you're going to buy, it doesn't matter what car you're buying, just compare. Like for example, the Prius is singa ziri 18 from what I've understood from the guys that are driving them around Kampala. 18 hybrid. So kati Prius yali 18 hybrid egenda kuba yenkanya amaanyi ne fielder 18 because zona 18 just sanga horsepower yemu ngani torque yemu. So it will definitely be a difference. What makes Paso different from Vitz? Because it seems Vitz people bawana buwane na yaba Paso babuka. So it's possible. This is what happens. Cars can have the same engine. Kati ndimi chukolako research because Pasos have the 1KR engine, Vitz have the 1KR engine, but those engines are different. Kati engine ya sisi lukumi, I'm doing research on it. 1KR engine, 1KR engine, 1KR engine is powerful, one is really weak. The Paso engine is really weak, the Vitz engine is really powerful. That's something I'll give an answer to later. But it seems even sometimes these manufacturers make cars and they give one car a strong gearbox, then they give another car a weak gearbox. So that's something that we have to just find out. I'm going to be telling you probably end of next week. I'll be telling you what's the difference between the Paso and the Vitz. Yet bajja kugamba zonna zina engine yemu naye nga ate engine ya Paso ya chi nafu efa mango ate nga ya Vitz ewangala, because people have been driving Vitz. I'll tell you, you'll find a Vitz UBN and a Paso UBN nga Paso ya raisi naye nga ate Vitz ya bei okitegeera. So I'll be telling you what's different. Good evening, Mr. Arthur. Hope you're doing well. How's the performance of X-Trail compared to Harrier? Which one of the two? Timothy, I think you already know what I'm recommending. And I'm not recommending because I've driven it. I'm recommending because there are so many stories on both. Which take it. Even the 2015 Harrier has its own issues, but the issues of a Harrier might be much easier to solve than the issues of the X-Trail. Which take it. But you could X-Trails, you should only buy an X-Trail if you're passionate about Nissans. If you're not passionate about Nissans, don't buy X-Trail. With the Toyota Harrier, there are so many places you can fix that Harrier. But with the Nissan, you're limited with where you're going to fix that car from. And you don't want to buy a car which has limitations on where to fix it from. Hi, King Daniels. How are you? Sami, chechiriwo man. Sami, by 40 tumugenda kumpita Dr. Chisenyi. Idanga apandike rinyerange Arthur Chisenyi, PhD. How's Mark X 2009 model? Buy. Fuel consumption iliwa gurumu, but that car, if you can get a 4-wheel drive car to eliminate the troubles of having your car get stuck in slippery places, buy a 4-wheel drive. VW Touareg. I have no problem with the Touareg. I just find that the maintenance is a little high. But if you have the money, the Touareg will give you a very good driving experience. But I also find that most people that have the Touaregs have other cars as well. But there are people that are passionate about German cars. If you're passionate about German cars, instead of buying a Touareg, why don't you buy the ML? Which take right? The ML will probably give you better reliability. Zonaza beyo kumaintaininga, but when you look at the failure rate of cars, ML versus Touareg, the Touareg will break down a little bit more. And I've not driven it before, but I've seen, I've heard, and I've been told. The people here who have bought and driven a Mark X before, would you rather buy the 4-wheel drive Mark X or the ordinary rear-wheel drive Mark X? I love the Mark X na yeye ziserera nnyo. And some actually, I find that a Mark X inakuyiga jivuga. There are people that drive Mark X's nga tezibaseredde. Kati ne wange jembe yali seredde waliwo ebiseera enkuba lwetonnya waliwo ebiseera ebinkuba lyetonnya naye n'emmotoka esikirira mu maaso nga zitya amakuba ago. So whenever you can, naye ne 4-wheel erina weetuuka n'eremererwa. Naddala ezo 4-wheel eza wansi erina weetuuka n'eremererwa ng'etudde because ya wansi. But me, I would recommend you get a 4-wheel drive oba otera okuyita mu bikuba ebiseerera. Hi Balvids, have Victor Bolaise, how are you? Kevin Nabimanya. Omega Mohasa, what's the consumption of a Subaru Forester 2005? Subarus will give you about 6 to 8 kilometers per liter. If it's the two EJ20 and EJ25, 6 to 8 kilometers per liter. Now, there are people that will come and say they drive Subarus and that Subarus give them 12 kilometers per liter. I think those are the newer models. But the 2005 will definitely give you 6 to 8 kilometers. And on the highway, it can go up to 12. Renault Kwid, talk about it. Sijimanyi nyoguma, I'll tell you. But I'll also tell you that Renault, when you buy a Renault, you're buying a car that has like four specialized garages that can handle it in Kampala. That means you're going to be spending money, a lot of money on fixing that car. Kawaya kafa, you have to call someone again to right? So there are cars that one thing I realized, you guys actually have money. If you said mumba what differences in Moroka, bagambe into the Moroka, go muntu go gamba in a set. But it looks nice. It looks really nice. But all those cars, they are not bad. What will give you trouble is the maintenance when it comes to that period of you maintaining it. That's why most of those cars, the Renault, the Peugeots, those cars are driven by people that live in Kololo and in Tinda. If you're a person who hopes to move out of the city, I'd recommend that you buy a car that you can actually move out of the city with. Because if you have that car, if you come this way, you realize that people actually have certain cars that they bought when they're still living in the town. Newe bazimbe no ne bajja ekimotoka ne kimulemere n'akiteekaawo ne kituula. You get what I'm saying? So I would recommend that don't buy a car that will give you trouble. And this has been shown. Most rich people that are in Kampala, at least the rich people that are conservative, they buy their Toyotas. Abantu bakatandika okugula zi Range Rover. Bakatandikira ddala. Era ojasanga omuntu alina Range Rover abayo ne Land Cruiser era. Okitegeera. Yes, Sammy, thank you. What is the difference between a Max Premium and Vertiga? Those are trim levels. I probably have to sit in them. But Vertiga is also a premium. Zibamu, they have extras. Sometimes you'll find that one has bigger rims. Then you'll find that one has probably an interior upgrade. Then you'll find that one has changes on the grills and the bumpers. Then the other one, you'll find that it's probably 3,500 cc. They always have upgrades that come with them. And some of them, you'll find that they are limited. That's why you find that there are not so many on the road. Hi, Juko Nicholas. Chances of finding a Toyota Vista at 8 million estate version. The chances are there, but 8 million tojafuna ya VVTI. Bonofunaga ya VVTI, the engine will be faulty. But 8 million, you can. But it's very rare right now, because the Vista right now is one of those cheap VVTI cars. And I know that right now it's between 10 and 12 million. Because the people that have those Vistas, because they're very good cars. When you're driving a Vista, you're driving a Primo new model. The engine, the gearbox, Primo new model. You get it? So kati, it's just that our Primo new model, Arabika, Party, and all that. People will say, oh, Msajo, you're innocent. And the Vista is cheaper than the Primo new model. But 8 million you can get now Jafune Daily 3S. The 3S engine is the one that is in the Ipsam Mitsubishi Outlander. Francis, if you can avoid the Outlander, avoid it. Avoid it. You guys don't want to buy a car which will force you by mechanic and then you'll get frustrated and say, let me go to the dealer. You get it's impossible to find a person that is fixing a Toyota and they say, now let me go to Toyota Uganda. It's impossible. But there are so many people that are driving Nissans, Mitsubishis, yagule moroka yenga oba yagigula ku muntu bayajija mu bondi ne etuuka ma makanika ne bakanika nga biganya okuterera naga let me go to the dealer nagende wa dealer nayo ne bigana. The Outlander we worked on that was overheating. Guy yasoka nakola makanika be ne bigana. He went to the dealer, the Nissan dealer in Kampala. Ne bigana. He went back to the other mechanics. Ne bigana. That's when he called me and then we worked on it. But if you can avoid the Outlander, please do. But do you think that importing is better than buying from bonds? Importing saves you money. Yeah, importing saves you money. But you need to understand that you will save money, but you take on the risk that these bond guys take on. There are bonds here that actually give you at a very, very, very low price. I'm telling you this. Whereas you just have to go and bargain properly. Some of the guys that have bonds here also have bonds in Japan. Katingera boro kazebale town bazijja mu bondi yabwe in Japan. Some of these guys have bonds in Dubai. Ngere jamu bondi ya Dubai. You just have to know how to bargain. Bwogenanga when you want to import your own car and they tell you enemboka etukira no $1,250,000. So ka webuze. We may tukira no $1,250,000. The person that can sell me the cheapest here in Kampala, how much? Ujageno kwesanga you're saving 2 to 3 million. And then the question from me to you would be, if you're saving 2 million, what risks are you taking on by importing this car yourself? How much are you paying before the car gets to Kampala? And then you'll say, I'm paying about 16 million. So if your 16 million doesn't come back, will the risk be worth it? Today I was talking to one of my friends and I was telling him, you know what? Me, I think I was made to give people services. I'm a service person. And he was asking me why. Nemugamba, I think there are people like that. That's why some people do good in business. No sanga balanga amaze myaka asatu mu business na inga tebikola because he wasn't a business person. Si musubuzi. Cause there are people like me probably because me I know mu service I'm good. You know, Peter call a pre-purchase inspection. I'm really good. I'm vigilant there. Na henze sobora kusubula motoka. Wachitegera, se sobora kusubula motoka because nyimako obuntu. ndi mwaka obuntu. I remember when nalinga nyine ebyuma bya disco ng'abantu olumumba ku prices zili unbelievably low because omuntu ajja n'ayogera naawe, but in my service which is inseparable from me, I can actually price it better. Okitegera engeri kiri sina kyentaddemu kitudde awo, I can actually hold off n'engamba nedda bwe batompa zino sente sijja kukola. Okitegere because this is inseparable from me. Like the service I give you, no one can give it to you like me. So if you really want me, you will pay my price, whether it's premium or what. Nekati ebintu by'okusuubula. Kati nyina kamera wano. Yene nsuubule kamera eno. Then bwe nsuubula kamera eno, nkusuubule kamera zino 10 nziteeke mu dduuka. And then n'omulala asuubule kamera zino 10 aziteeke mu dduuka. Eventually one of us is going to want to sell cheaper. Because kamera ziruddewo. Nenze tolina lunaku lwogenda kungamba nti Arthur, now your pre-purchase inspection expertise eri mu kuvunda lwaki togitunda n'ogijjawo. It's never going to be like that. It's inseparable from me. So the money I invest here would be the marketing. So kati nze siri musuubuzi. And I was telling him ye musuubuzi alina ebintu byaguze bya sente nyingi byasuubula biri awo bitudde ne mga kati gwedaba nze kati awo singa ntandise okulo. Being a marketing person, I have targets, and sometimes as marketers, you have to push to make sure that things move. In the service business, if this service doesn't move, you twerk it a little bit and sell it another way. Yes, even in products, maybe you could twerk it a little bit, but I find that with products, it's a little harder than in services. So I'm a service person. Sorry guys, I came late. The vid were just comparing Toyota Passo and Vitz. Oh, when you talked about ML, someone wanted to sell one at 8 million UAM series, but you said I should add on my money to get a good one. Yeah, but Antikati Olaba, Charles, you can buy your ML at 8 million. It you see is a Kugana. But MLs, Shema Dengeza Kugama, MLs are better than VWs. I know there's someone that bought an ML. Mumanyi bamugambi actually yesterday, I think. Yagula ML na milioni 10 najiteka mu engine. Kati ML yatuna milioni 10 nga engine yefu. Chitekeza ne yomnana ye ine bizibu byayo. You just have to be ready. If you're not ready to suffer, ML jireke. Mercedes Benz is not for the poor. It's not. Nabagaga bamu Benz zibalema. Richard Max, hi. Thank you for subscribing and you're welcome. James Komunjara, how are you? Obuze, uyu mgaga wange James Komunjara. Chechiriwo, solo extra high. Look, I got the Toyota Blade 2.4 VVTi about 2 weeks ago. I love it. Recommendation definitely helps in the decision-making process. Thank you, Arthur. Amina, look, enjoy yourself. Good evening, Gonza. Amina, webale kubera mukamori. Nissan Wing Road. Now, I've not driven that Nissan Wing Road, but I can tell you this. Nagenda ko mu garage, je bakola wiring. Omusajja najja Nissan Wing Road yeyo. Nga gear tezikyusa. Naye nga ekizibu tekiri ku gear, kiri ku masannyalaze. Okitegeera nga bagikanisa okumalawo ekisinga 2 ng'ekizibu kikyaganya okutereera. Now, the problem with Nissans and Mitsubishis, and I've told you this, and all these other fake brands that I don't want you to buy, because naddala ng'okyeyiiya. Okitegeera abagagga mugule. Naye abantu abakyeyiiya abalinga Arthur, I'd recommend that you buy a car gy'otagenda kwagala kutwala waddiira. Kati Nissan Wing Road ewe nekkolako emikolo ojja kwagala ogitwale bayita baani abo babatunda Nissan wano mu Uganda. Ogitwaleyo nayo bigaane. It's the same thing that happens with Fords. Omuntu agula Ford wano ng'agyagala n'etandika omukolako emikolo, bamakanika ab'e Kampala ne babikoowa, n'agitwalako ewaddiira naye ne bigaana, n'agiparking ewaka. Gegaanyi. So the Nissan Wing Road, is it this one that looks like a fielder? So what's stopping you from buying a fielder? Buy yourself a fielder. Bw'oba oli mugagga, but ate omugagga ki ekiguza Wing Road oba toli mugagga olwo. Olwo bwetetenkanya Nissan Wing Road eyinza oba ya rayisi nga kikigiguza, but try and avoid cheap cars in the brands that are rare still, the brands that I don't recommend. If you're going to buy a Nissan, for example, buy one that is not very cheap, because a very cheap one ejja kukolako emikolo. So I have to turn on the engine periodically. So that I charge. I'm using up the battery with this thing. Yeah, so that's how we bought the Vitz yesterday. And how do you always be in good mood, Arthur? Onyiga, Onyigako cause you're always excited and patient. You answer the same question with the same energy. Kevin nyiga. But I think I've grown also. I've grown. And also bad things happened to me. You'll be surprised. Something very bad happened to me last week, but I'll share that in a couple of months. I don't want to share it now, but I'll share in a couple of months. And it was terrible. And I think it can happen to everyone here, but I'll share in a couple of months. I'm not going to share now, but something happened to me. So I'm not always in a good mood, but this channel kind of brings out the good side. But also I think I'm happy. I think I have good people around me. Anybody that I thought is not good for me, negative energy, I try to keep away from negative people. I stay away from people that have negative energy. I try to stay away from people that are complaining. And if people around me are complainers, then I try to take that out of there. Try to tell them, don't complain. It could be worse, but it's not. That's the thing I live with. Every time something that happens to me that is bad, time something bad happens to me, I talk to myself and I tell myself it could be worse, but it's not. You get, you know how you get to a place and you lose like 100K, and then you say, okay, someone else has lost 1 million today, but I've only lost 100K. That's always how I am, and I think it helps me. I can be down for some time, but then I get up knowing that, you know what, you have your life, you have your body, and all that. I was seeing a video on TikTok of this parliamentarian from the UK who got disease, and his arms were cut off, his legs were cut off. And right now, I think it's plastic. And then it's a disease where the immune system fights against itself. And then when the immune system fights against it, it's rare. The immune system fights itself, and it's itself. So they have to cut this thing off where the immune system has been fighting itself. So for him, they took the legs and the arms, and now wadi. And then this guy was still smiling, and I'm asking myself, okay, if this guy can smile, why can't I? But I also think I try to be in a good mood because I've seen worse than this, and I believe right now I can smile, and I should be able to smile. And just remember that it could be worse, but it's not. What's your opinion of Sanyong Recton? What's that? What is that? Richard Max, what's that? I've never heard of that. So Recton. I don't have another phone to Google that. After, how is Toyota Belter? Belter is good. If you can get a Belter that has a 1NZ engine, buy that one. If you get I find that the only problem with the Belter is that you may get a Belter that is 1 liter, and it will disturb you because the body is big for the engine. If you're ever going to buy a 1 liter car, let it be a Vitz or a Passo. Togule moroka nga yenkana Ractis ngerimu engine ya 1 liter nolozo noba n'emirembe. Togule moroka nga yenkana Belter ngerimu 1 liter nolozo noba n'emirembe. If you're buying a Belter, buy one that either has a 1NZ engine or a 2NZ engine. 2 engines that you should buy with a Belter. Naye kambuuze kirungi okulimba singa oba oyina kyogoba nga kirungi naye waliwo atakikkiririzaamu the wife. Nze simanyi kulimba bagaaye bange bali ku ddembe. Nze simanyi kulimba. Simanyi kulimba. And I think that's the one thing that Mama Aban kyeyasinga okulwana nakyo, nti sirimba. If you're not smart, I will tell you. There's for example, there's a dress she liked. I think it was 2 weeks ago. She sent me the dress and she said, honey, buy this for me. And I said, okay. And I sent her the money. I asked her how much is the dress, and she told me. and I sent her the money. So yesterday we were talking, and she showed me a dress that looks exactly like the one she bought, almost the same as the one she bought. And I said, but I don't like those dresses. You know the dresses I like. And then she reminded me, but there's a time I asked you for money to buy this dress. And then I asked her, when you asked me for the money, actually my messages yambuza, do you like the dress? And I said, I have no problem with it. You like it, so buy it. So I really don't like the dress, but she likes it. And then yesterday she was asking me, then why would you allow me to buy something you don't really like? And I told her, but you're buying it for you, not for me. But if you like it and you'll feel good putting it on, chigure. And then that's how honest I can be. And she said, oh. Then I asked her my messages I told you if you like it, buy it. You're not buying it for me. Because nange nyine ebintu byengula nga mbyegulira. Nga ye tayari byagadde naye nga nze nkola ki? Nze mbyagala. So then I buy those things for me. Jebiri bingi nnyo. Okitegeera, there are times I get out of home, nentula mu mmotoka nenvuga nengenda ku mulimu nga nyambadde short and sandals and a vest. And she doesn't like it, but I'm doing it for me because your happiness at the end of the day is important. Okitegeera. So I find that, Joseph, I don't know how to lie. I find that one lie will get you to sell another, and eventually you'll forget the first lie. And that's not always good. It will always catch up. So I find that the more honest you can be with your woman, the better it is for you. Better honesty. Nebwa batachikiriza mugambe nayo manyi ngenda chikola. Chikole batachikiriza if you believe it, because one thing I've realized abasajja mwe musalirawo bakyala bamwe oba oyagala oba toyagalira omukyala gwagenda omusalirawo bemulina okukola ewaka kubanga gwe bw'otaasalewo ate now you're going to start saying naye mama gundi yaŋŋaana ate simanya biki I think people will be looking at you like okay mama gundi akugaana ate gwe musajja watanga you're into big projects nga kyogoba kyokka nga takkirizaamu chokanga takirizamu kulimba chibi. Joseph, I don't know. I think you're looking for the answer that tells you mulimbe. Okitegeera, eh? So now when it works out, you'll send money na kulimba na each kati kyakoze. Because I find that every time you do stuff, when it doesn't work out, you're going to want this person to stick with you. Okitegeera, that's the thing. If it's your wife, if things go wrong, you're going to want your wife. Mujukira oluyimba lwa Misa Kisemakula baluyita batya. It's a song that featured this guy Jingo because ebitya. It's a song in the video. This dude was shipping stuff and something went wrong. Na yavuwana naddane mu kyalo nga abantu be yabeeranga nabo tebamuyamba tebamubeereddewo, and then all of a sudden insurance paid him and he went back on his feet in the end. Naye all that time he was with his wife. Abakyala bano naddala ng'osazeewo wasa omukyala kimanye nti that woman is your babayita bani ride or die babayita bani. So Joseph, I find that mukyala wo ogenda kwagala abeere naawe mbulungi ne mbubi kati oli mbulungi and you're planning a big project. Tell her about it, try to convince her, and then work out a way that you can do it that makes her feel a little bit safe, because if it doesn't work out, you may want to be bitter that she has left you. It was your fault. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I find that especially with business, you need any support you can get, and the immediate support you can get right now is your woman. So I think be honest with them. Omuconvincing oba takikiriza ate kati nze simanyi abakazi abatakiriza mbyebukirizamu gye mubajja so omuntu atakirizamu kyezikirizamu. I find that musobola okuba ne disagreements approaches nga zanjawulo. Nze ne mama bantu tumanyi okugira oba tobyagala nze ngenda bikola n'agamba naye bikole safely bwoti osegeera. There is always that thing where you find the middle ground. I'm going to do this project, you don't believe in it, but I find that it will help us as a family, it will help us as a couple, so how do you think I should handle it? And then you agree nakuwa. So that's what I think. I think you should not lie. Patrick is a motoka zombi nungi. Wichi anywamu ku mafuta okusinga fielder watu funye fielder yaku mu lunana But I find that the atekative field is in case of 2010 and above, the valvematic. They'll give you good consumption. Ne wobogula wish ya valvematic, ne field ya valvematic, gula wish ya valvematic, according to me. Semunyaga, I think you should create an atmosphere where your wife has to believe in your decisions. Thank you, Emmanuel. The set are creating atmosphere. I think even from the time of picking the material, picking your woman, ngatonna mulonda, you have to understand how she thinks. Olabo anakuyambako ku empowering oba nawo no mu empowering. We empower each other. Because when she believes, she will trust your confidence no matter what results the project will be. Exactly. Joseph, you said you should sit your wife down and talk face to face because you're gonna get into big trouble. Exactly. Ebiseera ebimu genda mulaba abasajja abakazi bebalekawo nga bagudde mu kishite. Omukazi yayita amanyi bigenda maaso ogwa n'okuwa n'otandika n'ogamba omukazi business yagaana nga yagamba nedda wafuna mukazi okitegeera because ajja kutandika okulowooza ebyo ebintu. You just imagine if you lived with your woman for like 10 years and all of a sudden you know she's going to alina emizigo gy'abapangisa nga ate yagizimbira mu period mwe mwali mwembi. How would you feel? You'll feel terrible. So I find that the moment you have decided that this is my wife, you guys should be sharing most of these things, everything actually, because oli mukyala wo awaka senga ofuna ekizibu yagenda okubeerako. You guys need to understand that the moment you get someone's daughter to commit to you, to commit to be there for you in sickness and health, simanya mu biki na biki, the moment you want someone's wife to be there with you, you need to be there with her. Okitegeera? Other than that, bw'oba oyagala obeere nga oyagala okwemalirira mu buli kimu, then don't marry. I think that's the thing that marriage gives us. Your character of not being able to lie is very important and excellent. I want to learn, Aisha, baby. People that lie seem to be happier because they lie to your faces and this guy is very nice. This chick, she's the best human being. Kumba limba. People that lie, I don't know how to lie. Chanema. And actually, when I'm angry with you and you have done something to me, I don't talk to you again. I will call you and tell you we can even talk for 2 hours. I think I don't know how to lie. It seems when I pretend to be good, you are a good person to me. I tell you, guys, 1 hour is over. Conversation here Sunday. Guys, I'm really sorry. Tomorrow we'll not be having a broadcast in the morning, but Tuesday we'll have a broadcast, and hopefully the Tuesday inspection will come through, and then we'll be probably buying a Mark II Grand. It is about to go Mark II Grand on Tuesday. Kale, kamba si ule baganda bange. Mwebale nnyo kubeera ku broadcast namwe abali mu kamoli temwerabira tukola pre-purchase inspection. If you want to buy a car and you want to get a good car, make the right decision. Looking at the situation, I'm your guardian angel, Arthur. Yes, and then I come with a mechanic and we make sure that you get a good car. Verification yonna nebeera yaffe gwe omulimu gugakugamba eyonjivuge yonje ulira ungambe nokunga sente zayo zina tulemekebera moroka akasente tukola ki tozirina. Antonio Random Things Travel Live Vlog Tazan Ali tucharging emitwalo 45 jokka for pre-purchase inspection. Radio tuzina za mitwalo 5 Android, buli radio ejirako reverse camera and installation. Then twina what do you call that? What do you call that? Twina tracking devices amitwala 3.5 emotoka yo asset yo nebwebera ya million 2 giteke mu tracker. Olunaku lwe banabba emotoka enze luli banzi bakesimu mujjukira nga ngenda kufuluma million 1 n'emitwalo 2 ogula essimu endala. And I was, oh my God, ekintu kati kirina kuva mu ngalo olowooza nti tekirina makulu. You know how they say nti omuntu gw'oyagala amala kuvaako n'olyoka omanya nti yali wa mugaso. So essimu yange baagibba ya miliyoni 1 n'emitwalo 2, but before nga tebannagibba ng'olaba kisimusimu kiri awo screen guard yatise tekirabika lwe bagitwala lw'omanya nti essimu nnungi. Kati n'emmotoka ne bweba ya miliyoni 3 lwe banaagitwala ojja ginoonya wansi w'emipiira gy'emmotoka endala naye nga bagitutte. Hi Travel Live Vlog, mwebale nnyo Tazana Ali, Kavuma Farouk, Samuel Sisi Musomesa, Muse Masadam, Charles Sebaduka, Aloy Joan Jojo, Francis Rubega, Aisha Nanyonjo, Waswa Roderick Fosca, Majwala Julius, Martha Academy na Mamukono, Joseph Pali Kudembe, Johnson Lubinga Herbert, Lubura Chris Fitness, Dogmeister, Ntongo, Helen, Besigensi Kenneth, Ben Kako, JFK Arts, Lucky Brint, Bukenya Abi, George Dickens Meihaho, Frahad Lubuka, yes, Kayemba Patrick, Derek Lule, Tony Onaba, Ninsima Brick, Kavuma Farouk, yes, Timothy Wondiana, King Daniel, Sami, Mugwere Ismail, Victor Bolaisi. Arthur, I want a Vitz, but I tell me best 1.3. 1.3 is the best. The 1.3 is rare. If you're buying a 1.3 Victor Bolaisi, so you buy the 2NZ engine only. Balvids, Nabimanya Kevin, Omega Mohasa, Gumatik, Pade Mutumba, Sami, Dennis Musime, Juko Nicholas, Abe, yes. Munoza Sibamazeyo, no. Shen Setuba, yes. Komunjara James, Solo Extra, yes. Gonza Anthony, yes. Pius Rubowa, Chiza Tadeo, yes. Oyo VIP. And then Francis Chizito. Trackers versus comprehensive. Answer this last one question again. Yeah, no, Francis. Have a tracker and comprehensive, both of them. The thing with the tracker is after the first year, you'll be paying 50,000 every year. Comprehensive insurance for a car, or maybe that's 0.4% of the value of the car every year. The thing with comprehensive insurance, you cannot retrieve that money if your car doesn't get stolen. So, or if your car doesn't get damaged. So every year you'll keep paying the 1 million over 1.5 every year. And every year if you don't get trouble, that 1.5 is gone. Every year. That's just insurance. The thing with the tracker, even if you sell your car and you have bought another car, you can take the tracker out of that car and put it in another car. So you can always move with your tracker in whichever car you buy. I've seen people that sell cars nebatundiramu tracker ngate tracker yote bakuwaddemu sente. So every time you buy a car, take your tracker out, put it in another car. Every time you buy a car, take your tracker out of the old one, put it in the other car. Ukitegeera. Karemire Gordon, guys. Obudde bwevo kambasibule. I'll see you on Tuesday morning. It will be Market Tuesday. Baina business mujemu marketing tubaguleko tubawagire mwebale kumpagira. Even you guys that recommend me, thank you very much. Do the trackers come with an app? Yes, they do. You have an app on your phone where you can control your car. You can turn off the engine using your phone. You can see where the car has been. You can see where the car is going in real time. Every time they turn on the engine, you get a notification. Every time the car is in jam, idling, you get a notification. The tracker is, and then the other tracker that is 450,000, you can call it and listen to the people in the car. Guys, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Even you guys that are watching this broadcast later or tomorrow or next week or next month, thank you very much. I wish you a very lovely day, guys. A lovely evening. Don't drink and drive. Arthur, I need you, but find me in your inbox. Kari Tadeo. Have a very lovely day, guys. Can you show us what the app looks like? Unfortunately not. May the good Lord bless you. Ciao.